A court in Utah recently decriminalized polygamy. We covered this story on the show not too long ago. And the religious right is pissed off about this. In fact, listen to some of their quotes. Tony Perkins of the Family Research Council called the decision, quote, collateral, cultural, and religious carnage of the gay rights movement, and he warned the ruling would, quote, turn back the clock on women's rights. James Dobson, another one of these guys, wrote that, quote, just as same-sex marriage led to polygamy, the destruction of the family will quickly undermine the foundations of this nation. Very doom and gloom. The National Organization for Marriage, this is a vehemently anti-gay group, guy by the name of Brian Brown, who's part of it, said, quote, no doubt that the arguments for same-sex marriage were a template for this case. We warned from the beginning that once the biblical standard of man-woman marriage was breached, there would be no logical place to stop. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'll give you a couple more here. The American Family Association, that's the group Brian Fisher is a member of, quote, though we have been accused of exaggerating and scaremongering, this ruling shows that we were right all along to sound the alarm. Liberty Counsel's Matt Staver said, quote, once you cross the precipice to deconstruct marriage so that it includes people of the same sex, there's no logical or legal way to stop the avalanche of further deconstruction of marriage, which includes polygamy and even polyamory and group marriage. Gary Bowers said, quote, this is one of my favorites here, America's leftist elites want to rip our nation away from Judeo-Christian values. If they succeed, our shining city on a hill will just be another brothel. Damn. And of course, Rick Santorum talked about, I told you so, I knew this was going to happen. So first of all, let's just get this out of the way. The ruling was from a George W. Bush appointed judge, very conservative judge, and he said his ruling was not based on gay marriage, it was based on the religious freedom of the First Amendment. Okay? So that has nothing to do with gay marriage. Now, I go a step further and I say even if it did, which it didn't, but even if it did, I'd say good. I'm actually on the side of the conservative judge, and I think you could have ruled this case either on the freedom of religion aspect, or I would have done it on a different aspect, freedom of expression, okay, where people say, this is what I want to do, right? Or you could say equal protection. Everybody's granted equul protection under the law. I want to get married to 3 girls or 4 girls or whatever it is, or, you know, a girl wants to get married to 4 guys, whatever it is. Why should I be treated differently from somebody who wants to get married 1 man, 1 woman? So that's how I would have approached the case. But again, it has nothing to do with the gay marriage case. The judge made that clear. Now, these guys are very clear. They're very upset that we've gotten away from biblical marriage in America. So of course, then the question is begged, what is biblical marriage? And the answer is, what? Polygamy? That's right. Bible scholars have said repeatedly, if you've read the Bible, you're well aware of this, actual biblical marriage is polygamy. Bible scholars Robert R. Cargill, Hector Avalos, and Kenneth Atkinson not too long ago decided to tally up all the different kinds of marriages in the Bible and count them to see what's the predominant, what comes in second, so on and so forth. Number 1 in the Bible, number 1 form of marriage, polygamy. So what happened, guys? I thought you'd be celebrating. You guys are the Bible literalists, but you're against polygamy, which is literally biblical marriage. It seems to me like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But that's what's great about these guys. They know nothing about the thing that they're basing their whole lives on, this holy book that they're basing their whole lives on. Atheists know more about it. Agnostics know more about it. Your average Joe knows more about it. But they're brazen in their misunderstanding of it. Bible says 1 man, 1 woman, even though it doesn't. So again, the number 1 form is polygamy. And then would you like to guess what number 2 is? Marrying a woman off to her rapist. Marrying a woman off to her rapist is also biblical marriage. That's in Deuteronomy 22, lines 28 to 29. And I should also say that the number 3 form of marriage, Matthew 19:12 says, quote, Jesus even encourages those who can to castrate themselves for the kingdom, quote, for the kingdom, and live a life of celibacy. So there are your forms of biblical marriage. And also I should note, the Bible goes out of its way in Ezra 10, lines 2 through 11, to forbid interracial marriage and order those people of God who already had foreign wives to divorce them immediately. So if there was a book that I had to base the moral kind of marriages on, I would rather go to the anarchist cookbook than go to the Bible.